Yo, welcome back to another episode of Superhero Swag. I am your host, 16 the Icon, aka Mr. Superhero Swag, and today I have the last three of the Executioner Build a Figure wave. But before I get started on the review, we all know that Hasbro's been knocking it out the park with finishing up teams. So before I say that they finished this team, because clearly there are a couple members missing, I would just like to say to everyone watching, can you say Dark Avengers 2 pack with Dark Bullseye, aka, well, Dark Hawkeye, aka Bullseye, and Ares? That sounds like a plan. Hurry up and finish this team because all we need is Maximus the Mad, and the entire royal family of the Inhumans will be represented in plastic form on our shelves. Now, I wanted to do this Dark Avengers thing because we are dangerously close to finishing this team. Of course, everybody probably thinks that we need a new Century, which I agree. We probably need one that's a little more, a little. I don't know. Is this his stature? Is this his stature? Is this good enough? Is this fine? I don't know. Now, the whole review is actually about this cat right here because I didn't think that after the debacle that was the first six arm Spider Man, I didn't think they would be able to pull it off. But then they gave us one of the greatest figures of all time, which is Spiral, because they actually had all six arms able to be articulated and be able to all be fit on that buck. And it was just like a miracle of modern science. And now they have pulled it off again. I didn't think I was going to really like this guy, but this is a pretty fun. I'm trying not to say the F word. This is a fun figure, bro. This is a fun figure. All six arms, fully articulated, fit on the buck. I mean, I would cry about the ab articulation and the fact that he just has the top rocker, but I will sacrifice that for the articulation of all six arms because that is awesome. That is awesome. Now, before I break all of this apart, I just want to say, yeah, we have Century. We have is that Marvel Boy. We have Iron Patriot, Miss Marvel, which is really Carla Sofin. This isn't, Carol Danvers. And then we have Wolverine, which is really Dakin, son of Wolverine, because we all know Wolverine don't have no ink, right? And Wolverine's claws are a little different than two on top and one coming from the wrist, right? Now in this one, he's just got the two because you know that Wolverine can control how many claws come out. So can his son. So I don't want anybody being like, well, he got three on one and two on the other. No, no, no. Okay. So just bask in the ambiance of how close we are to finishing Dark Avengers. And three, two, one. Yeah. That's that's pretty dope, bro. That's pretty dope. All right, so let's move all of these people out the way. Let's move all of these people out the way, right? Because it's not their video. It's not their video. So we're gonna move them out the way, and we're gonna focus on this guy right here, Dark Avengers Spider-Man. Now, he is the all black buck, and it's a slimmer buck. That's cool. Boot cut. You know, I always like the boot cut. Front facing pin for rocker on the feet. We have that. Yes, we do. Got peg holes at the bottom of the feet. A little bit of legalese, a little bit of serial numberage going on the bottom of the feet. And this is pretty clean, bro. I mean, the definition in the abs and all of that. Let me get the light on that. Boom. See the definition in the abs? Let me give him a quick spin. I haven't gotten one of the spin around boys yet, but look at how the paint even continues and they have it going far up into the back so it does not break the design. And we appreciate that. He's got the upper thigh cut, double jointed, pinless, kicks his own ass, passes the Robo Don't Know test with ease. Of course, black suit Spider-Man is definitely a lot of people's favorites anyway. When you get a black suited Spider-Man, a lot of people are going to be hyped because that's definitely one of the favorite suits. But this guy, man, he's fun for a whole different reason. Look, he can ask for the ball and knock out four people and say Wakanda forever all at the same time, bro. Like he's something else. This is a pretty decent figure, nice representation of Dark Spider-Man, which actually Dark Avenger Spider-Man, which was actually Mac Gargan. Yeah, Mac Gargan. Mac Gargan, if you know your Spider-Man lore, is Scorpion. So yeah. Now my kid, my youngest, he has a Dark Avengers Venom like Spider-Man Scorpion that has the tail and all of that. So somewhere in between all of this, and someone can jump down in the comments and tell me what's going on. But I guess there were times where he was more subdued, and there were times where the Scorpion part was repressed, and there were times when the Scorpion part came out. I'm not fully knowing. I just know this figure is pretty dope. You can do the whole look up thing. So if you want to get him in some crawling poses like so, you can do all of that. And it's just a fun figure, man, because I had to kind of wait for him to warm up because it's cold here in Michigan. And I am not far from the Amazon facility, and I am not far from Hasbro because they are in Chicago. So it's not hard for me to get figures on point. I got Dragon Man before everybody. Hopefully, I can get my Sentinels sometime next week because they are shipping, and then we can do our thing. But upper thigh cut, double jointed, pinless on all six. Let me put that in your ear, on all six of the arms. Okay. Double jointed, pinless on all six of the arms. Now, as far as accessories, though, let me give you something on that. You know, I always keep them in the clamshell to make sure that I keep everything. So he's got the squinty eyes, which is a little more intense. So you hear that plastic doing the snap, crackle, pop. That's because we're about to trade up. That's the good thing about Marvel Legends too. I know if anybody's been watching Action Figure Universe here on the channel, they see that this is a plus to the Marvel Legends line, is being able to change the heads and change the expressions on the heroes. See, this is just way more intense now. Now he looks like he's pissed and he's about to knock your ass out. See what I mean? It's a lot different. So as collectors, and especially when you're doing action figure photography, you want all of these different expressions to give depth to the story you're trying to tell or the emotion you're trying to convey in the character. You want all of that. And this is just a fun, I know I've probably said it like 3 different times in this review that this is a fun figure. I mean, look at all the arms, man. Look at that. You're just gonna have a fun time playing with this guy. You got to figure out some ways to get him in the crawling, the crouching positions. Let's see. Let's see what we can do as far as him crouching down, giving us a classic Spider-Man pose, and he is fresh. Fresh. I just got him yesterday evening. He came off the truck and it is snowing up a storm. It's Michigan is Michiganing. And so, okay, a little crouchage. Okay, a little crouch downage. He's like, no, but when you spin me, I'm a fall though. Let's see. You can get him like so. Yeah. But I mean, it's a pretty easy thing. It's all black, very clean on the deco on the white. And the arms are definitely the stars of the show, as they should be. As they should be. And we already did the Dark Avengers thing, so you've seen him with his team, or with his team minus two members. Looking at you, Dwight. Two pack, two pack, two pack. Yeah. So this is a fun figure. That's probably the fifth time I've said it. Uh, make an appearance in the action figure universe? Maybe not. Maybe so. I'm not sure, but it is a good figure to have if you're trying to finish up that team. And so, yeah, definitely grab this build a figure wave. Now, let's see him with some other figures from the wave that I've already reviewed. We've got the Werewolf by Night. We've got the Iron Man Mark 72 Mysterium armor, right? Let me give you a better lineup like that. There you go. All right. And then I remember telling you she won't stand up by herself. So we've got her. I'm gonna have to figure out how to get her to stand up by herself though, because for $27.99, she should actually hold me up. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. And then we got World War II Logan. And everybody's probably like, where's her? Where's Claws? Bro? If you're a collector like me, you already know where his claws are. You already know where his weapons are. You know where his bag are. You know where his bag is. My accessories drawer. All serious collectors have an area where they have heads, hands, accessories, all of that stuff, and we have them in different drawers, so they are easy to find. So that's where his stuff is, like blast effects and all of that. The only reason she still got her mystical effect, her little magic effect right there, is because it is on her wrist. All right, Logan, on her wrist from the previous review. Now, other figures in the wave, because we are going to do this all together. Other figures in the wave. The next person up, fun figure, but a very, very obscure figure. Very obscure. Now, we thought that Crystar was obscure, right? But Crystar isn't as obscure as Warbow, because Crystar was the star of that particular comic run, right? So, if we are expanding our characters, getting more with the niche characters, because remember Rom, okay? Remember we got Rom, and now we have Crystar. Now let me focus that light in even better on that. Look at that. They're looking real good. Translucent is the word. Translucent. Shout out to the boys. So he's got every part of him, even this little gun. I mean, I thought this was kind of dope. You can see that it actually wraps around his forearm. So that's part of what's going on with that. And he's got the eye patch to give him a little more personality. So he's like a crystal Nick Fury with a crossbow. And then the bandolier is also in green. And if you take the bandolier off, which of course you probably can if you do it like so, and you wanted to work it off, take the head off, you will see. And let's take the head off so I can prove my point. They are the masters of reuse. And so, with that in mind, we know that when we take this off, we're going to see the same insignia in the same boots as the Crystar figure, because this is just a different color of the Crystar figure done for Warbow. Everything, including up to the belt, except for the belt, had to be a little different design because of this crystal right here. But Crystar, the Crystal Warrior, and then we have Warbow. And let's put Warbow's bandolier back on, like that, right? Pop the head back on. As I said, this is a strength of the Marvel Legends line, as well as the G.I. Joe line. Hasbro's killing it with that. And bam. Okay, so now Warbow is back. All right, so let's get into an articulation here. He has double jointed, pinless elbow, and the upper bicep swivel, upper thigh cut, double jointed, pinless knees, passes the test. Boot cut, no. Front facing, pin for rocker, yes. And as for other accessories, for Dark Spider-Man, I can't remember if I said it or not. He's got an extra set of your wall crawling hands so that you can have more than just the one set of wall crawling hands, since he has 6 arms. So just in case I didn't remember to tell you guys that, there's that. Now, as far as the body piece that he has, I'm going to do a segment at the end on that, because I have already put together Executioner. I couldn't help myself. I was up last night and I saw the pieces, and I'm like, all I have to do is connect them and put him in a dope ass pose. And I ended up being like, blam. Yeah, nasty. Oh no. Anyway, okay, so all right, so yeah, Warbow is. I mean, he's cool. New character on the shelf. New character on the shelf. Let's pull him forward. Boom. New character on the shelf. All right, so yeah, this is a good thing. We got a new character on the shelf. Got Dark Spider-Man over there. Got World War II with Logan. We got Warbow, a brand new Amora the Enchantress, and of course, as we spoke about before, first time in the line as well, Werewolf by Night. If you saw the special presentation from the MCU, you saw a different version of this guy. I'm army building werewolves. I already have 2 Jack Russells. I'm looking for 2 more so that I can do, yeah. Oh man, it's fun times, man, doing this action figure universe. But there is someone missing. There is someone missing. There, whoa. Is it another first time in the line, which would be Phantom Rider? Phantom Rider. Pull him forward. And let's take Warbow and put him back here with Amora, because he keeps falling over like her. So we're gonna put both of y'all green boys back here. All right, and now let me move Tony, and let me move Logan, and let me move Mac Gargan and Jack Russell. Yes, like the terrier. Yes, Jack Russell. And now I will give you the Phantom Rider. Now this guy is the cowboy version of the Ghost Rider. Now, I'm pretty sure, and I'm so glad that I have my book, which is the official handbook of the Marvel Universe, and I am going to find this character in the book. And in the book, mind you, here he's called Phantom Rider. Okay? The box says Phantom Rider. Everyone says that before that, he was called Ghost Rider. Okay? Ghost Rider until they gave Ghost Rider a different name. This is Carter Slade. Carter Slade was featured in the Ghost Rider movie, portrayed by Sam Elliott, very good actor, was in Roadhouse, was also Thunderbolt Ross before William Hurt took over the role. Okay. Now, if he's Phantom Rider on the box and he's Ghost Rider before that, then why in the handbook is he Knight Rider? And it's Hamilton Slade. So see, that's why it's good to have the actual handbook so that you can go and say, hey, yeah, that's not how that was. What's going on? And now I want to show you, because we're going to get to the meat and potatoes. I want to show you this. Okay. Make sure you look at the boots and all of that, right? Everything in the Marvel handbook, official handbook of the Marvel Universe. This is that guy. Okay. Scourge the Executioner. All right. Now, boom. Let me raise up so we can give him his full due. And that boy is nasty. He is nasty. You know, I love, absolutely love the comic book accuracy on this guy from the top to bottom, from the bottom to the top. This is what I look for to put on my shelf. I am absolutely filled with pride to put this on my shelf to represent Scourge the Executioner, because it looks exactly like the comic book. I do not collect MCU figures. I do not like the stature of MCU figures. They do not have the musculature. They do not represent the characters to the degree that I need them to. So I am a comic book Marvel Legends collector. You may have already noticed that. MCU figures in my universe are regular people because they're built like regular people. This is a supervillain. Look at this. It is absolute art. It is art that I can pose on my shelf in different poses and enjoy. I'm not knocking inbox collectors. I'm not knocking you, but I have to be able to touch it. Play with it, man. Oh man, shout out to Ant-Man and shout out to Paul Rudd in 40-Year-Old Virgin, if you remember that reference. But yeah, man, this guy right here, he's only got the single jointed elbow. He has all of his articulation up here in the rocker, but they do still give him a nice bit of crunch with just that rocker. Okay. And the axe is almost worth the price of admission, man. Look at that. The axe is nuts. The axe is nuts. His face, the digital print, look at that. Look at this, bro. Look at that. You know who he reminds me of, though, for people that, remember way, way back? He reminds me of Ming the Merciless. Look at that. Look at that goatee and those eyebrows. If that's not Ming the Merciless, dude, I bet you that's where, man, how much you want to bet that's where they got this whole idea for how the design of how Scourge would look would be from Ming the Merciless. I would not doubt it I would not doubt it at all. Single jointed elbows, upper bicep swivel, and it has the whole thing where you can kind of turn the bicep. A lot of people don't like that, but depending on what you're doing as far as your photography or whatnot, it might come into play. You might need it. Double jointed, pinless knees, and he can, even though he's a big boy, he can kick his own ass. All right. Front facing pin for rocker. Unfortunately, no, there is no boot cut. They could have hid the boot cut right here within the fur, but I'll allow it because the figure itself is the right stature. It's exactly, if I had envisioned creating this figure myself, this is pretty much what I would want. Now I don't know why I feel like they could use this for a Tuma because his helmet is going to take up a lot of real estate. Um, but yeah, I mean, I just like the bigger characters, and Atuma in the Submariner lore is he's a war general, so we need him to be large, and we don't need you to skimp on the scalage because he has scales on him. I need something as beautiful as this, Dwight. I need something as beautiful as this, or dare I say, more beautiful. Can I get Atuma to possibly be figure of the year? Because what you did with Odin, in my opinion, Odin was figure of the year last year. The summer program, but he still held his own and was figure of the year. So this is the first time I've had Executioner. This is the first time we've had Executioner in the line. It's the first time that we've had Knight Rider in the line. This is the first time we've had Werewolf by Night in the line. I'm just like, when they are doing their jobs and hitting on all cylinders, bro, I am there. I am there to applaud you. Real talk. That's what Mr. Superhero swag is. Like, hey, if you're doing your job, I have no gripes. But when you're doing stuff that you could have did a little better on, I'm gonna speak on that too. I gotta keep it real. But man, this was fun, man. I love this entire wave. This was dope. I like the packaging and how they have, it's easy for me to put on my shelves and show everyone what I'm doing and where I'm going. And so this was fun. This was fun. And you can see right here who had what. If you want to pause it and see who had what. But yeah, this was fun. So right here, this shows you what I'm going to be obsessing about next. I have to find a horse for Carter Slade so that when I do break him out in my universe, he will be properly represented. But I know I've held you guys for about a half hour, and I enjoy spending time with you. Hopefully, you enjoy spending time with me as well. But I do value your time. So we are pretty much done. I've shown you everything that I can show you except for the alternate hands for Knight Rider, which they are two fisted and one expressive. Not bad. And then for Warbo, he's just got the fisteds. He's got the fisteds. So yeah, like, comment, subscribe, hit that little bell and get notified so each and every time we drop new content, you will get that new content and be able to watch it 50 times. Y'all know what it is. All right, everybody. Peace.